From running the charts with a single hit and winning a Grammy, to album delays, lawsuits, and fans turning him into a meme, this is how Roddy Ricch ended his own career and where he is now. Roddy Ricch's career exploded in late 2019 when he dropped The Box on December 6th, and within weeks it took over everything. The song was an instant hit, and it spent 11 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, dominating radio, streaming, and social media at the same time. On top of that, fans loved it, saying things like, "Feels as good as listening to it the first time. The song will never go out of style," and "Very nice video. 10 out of 10 artistry and great command." And as if it couldn't get any better for Roddy Ricch, the song became unavoidable as its popularity on social media apps grew due to the iconic ad-lib. Yet the single was just a part of a bigger wave of Roddy Ricch's debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, that became number 1 on the Billboard 200, earning over 100,000 album equivalent units in its first week. It also spent 4 non-consecutive weeks atop the chart, becoming the longest-running number 1 debut rap album since 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin', which was released in 2003. During that period, Roddy was being called the king of Apple Music because of how heavily his songs were streaming, as playlists were built around him and charts were moving because of him. Yet what made it even more impressive was how fast it happened. Just months earlier, he was still viewed as a promising newcomer from Compton, but by 2020, he was being labeled hip-hop's next generational star. Specifically speaking, his feature on Racks in the Middle with Nipsey Hussle earned him a Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance, a moment that signaled industry validation. Fortunately for Roddy, everything aligned at once, and as a result, festivals booked him, award shows invited him, and major artists wanted collaborations. Within a year, he went from breakout talent to chart-dominating headliner, and at that moment, Roddy Ricch looked unstoppable. But this celebrity glamour would not last forever. Now, after a run like 2019 and 2020, expectations were so high as fans were waiting for another classic. However, when Roddy Ricch dropped his sophomore album, Live Life Fast, in December 2021, the reaction felt different immediately. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from professional publications, the album received an average score of 68 based on 6 reviews. Reddit users also went at it, with one of them saying, "It's not unlistenable, but this album is really missing that creativeness that Roddy displayed on Please Excuse for Being Antisocial," or as another one harshly put it, "Not everyone's able to adapt. Unfortunately, Roddy will probably be forgotten like Fetty Wap in a few years if he keeps up like this." It was clear that people expected evolution, but instead they heard something that sounded too familiar. But what made it worse for Roddy Ricch is the fact that there was a 2-year gap between Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial and Live Life Fast. In rap years, that's a long time, especially after a breakout moment that huge. During that gap, other artists rose, new sounds took over TikTok, and the energy of hip-hop shifted. So when Roddy Ricch returned, the pressure was more than just to deliver good music, because he had to prove that he still led the pack. Unfortunately, first week sales didn't match the hype of his debut era, because the album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200, earning 62,000 album equivalent hits, including 3,500 copies in pure album sales in its first week. Solid on paper, but noticeably below his first project. But the real moment that amplified the doubt came in February 2022, when Roddy Ricch previewed a snippet of the track called Out of My Mind. Instead of excitement, the clip triggered ridicule as people mocked the sound, with some calling it Chance the Rapperification, implying the song leaned into a style fans didn't associate with him. Others wondered, how this shit get so bad out of nowhere? His verse on Pure Souls was crazy too. Now, artists deal with criticism all the time. However, Roddy reacted publicly shortly after the backlash, wiping his Instagram clean and posting a message saying, "Guess I'm a flop now. Shit crazy," going as far as deleting his entire Twitter account. These moves proved to people that the criticism was getting to him, because deleting social media during a vulnerable career phase kind of signaled frustration or insecurity. Nevertheless, this was the first visible crack in his armor, because during his peak, every move looked calculated and confident. Even his fans felt that the Live Life Fast album didn't have the same effect as his debut album, but they still showed support through comments like, "I started to love Roddy from War, baby." I have to admit that LLF is not as good as Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, but the quality of the whole mixtape isn't that bad, and this deleted snippet is definitely not trash. Don't know why people start hating Roddy for no reason. Fortunately, he still had a fan base and industry connections, but things would only go downhill from here, because in July 2022, Roddy Ricch was performing at Switzerland's open-air Frauenfeld Festival when a fan rushed to the stage in an overzealous attempt to interact with him. Video footage showed the fan being restrained on the ground by security, but instead of stepping back and letting them handle it, Roddy Ricch kicked the fan multiple times while he was pinned. clip spread fast, and unfortunately, once something like this hits social media, context barely matters because the visual is what people remember. And as expected, fans called him out in the comments, saying things like, "I don't know why people put money into these rappers' pockets. They don't respect or value their fans." And, so the security's there for nothing? Roddy has no responsibility for himself on stage. Security caught the fan and it's over. Why would you even care about it? Even more, why would you hurt your fan? And while others thought that he had just earned himself an assault charge with thousands of people watching, the narrative that was forming was that Roddy Ricch looked reckless. And although artists dealing with stage invasions isn't new, Roddy Ricch stepping in physically made it look excessive. And as if things couldn't get any worse, something happened a few days later. At London's Wireless Festival, as Roddy Ricch performed The Box, with the crowd screaming the lyrics back at him, thousands of mostly white fans loudly shouted the N-word in unison. Despite this, the show went on and Roddy Ricch didn't address it. As a result, some argued that Roddy Ricch should have stopped the music and warned them from using the N-word like Kendrick Lamar did in one of his shows.
You gotta bleep one single word, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do it?
Roddy Ricch's silence triggered another wave of backlash, as one fan put it, "I hate that there were so many white people saying the N-word during Roddy Ricch's festival set. Hate it even more that white people love to come to Twitter to defend shit like that." And another one said, "Roddy Ricch had white folks reciting the N-word countless times and we just gonna let it slide? Definitely not me." Others found it outright hypocritical, like one user who tweeted, "Okay, so we're supposed to be okay with black kids referring to themselves with the same word slave masters called blacks, but gonna get upset when their descendants use it? Miss me with all of that." Nevertheless, performing in front of a massive festival crowd is chaotic. Artists sometimes focus on staying on beat, hitting cues, and keeping momentum. But online, that explanation didn't calm anyone down, especially black folk, because they expected Roddy Ricch to draw boundary. Unfortunately for Roddy Ricch, these were two controversies in one single month, and by the end of that year, he was trending for the wrong reasons. And this followed him later that year, because when Roddy Ricch released Feed the Streets 3 on November 18th, 2022, hoping to reconnect with the sound that originally built his fan base, the project did not do as well as he expected, even though the project had familiar flows and production choices that echoed his early mixtape energy. It debuted at number 14 on the Billboard 200. On top of that, the album received mixed reviews from critics, who praised Roddy Ricch's vocal delivery and production quality while criticizing the project for its lack of its usual aggression, leading to poor ratings. Pitchfork awarded the mixtape a 5.3 out of 10, noting that Ricch's eclectic singing on tracks like Aston Martin Truck showcased his melodic strengths, but overall, the effort felt too safe. However, Remix Magazine gave it a harsher 4 out of 10, highlighting the repetitive nature and failure to evolve beyond his earlier sound. Now, while the music conversation was already tense, another issue resurfaced from Roddy Ricch's biggest moment. On December 6, 2022, songwriter Greg Perry filed a lawsuit against Roddy Ricch and Atlantic Records, claiming that the Box copied elements from his 1975 soul song Come On Down. According to Perry's team, the rhythmic structure, beat pattern, and hook had strong similarities. However, in February 2024, U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres dismissed the case and ruled that no reasonable jury could find the song substantially similar. The court noted clear differences in tone and theme because the Box centers on rap themes about wealth and success, while Come On Down is a sentimental soul track about heartbreak. And although that ruling protected Roddy Ricch's biggest hit from legal damage, the lawsuit still left a mark because even when the case is dismissed, the accusation alone can shift how people talk about a song. Specifically speaking, when fans already question an artist's creativity, a plagiarism claim adds fuel because it creates doubt even if the court rejects it, and that doubt gets directed to almost all other creative works the rapper does, like on July 26, 2023, when Roddy Ricch hopped on his Instagram Live and decided to share with his viewers new music he was working on. My cover villa came with a chef. I'm a real deal stepper throwing different shoes. Throw him at the top of a bitch. At first, he had over 12,000 viewers when he started playing his tune, but his viewership dropped drastically to less than 8,000 within a minute of playing his melodic song. While others ironically said that people left to search the song, some believe that the music was just whack and that's why people left. Or as one commenter put it, listen to the music, you don't gotta be worried about people leaving the live. Regardless, the damage is already done and people were losing their faith in Roddy Ricch. Now, to reclaim his title as one of the best in the game, Roddy Ricch needed a reset in 2024. A strong album that was to serve as a clear statement, something to remind people why they cared in the first place. And so Roddy Ricch promised his fans a new album, the Navy album. When it was announced, fans were cautiously hopeful, but the rollout quickly turned messy. The first release date pointed to December 6, 2024, but then it shifted to February 21st, 2025. After that, April, then July, then October, then December 5th, 2025. Those were 6 unexplained delays, and every time a new date appeared, anticipation dipped instead of rising. And unfortunately for Roddy Ricch, the internet doesn't stay patient. Reddit threads popped up speculating about what was really going on, with some users claiming he was truly done and that he has missed his moment. Another one added, "It's a real shame because while Live Life Fast might have been a setback for him, I still felt like he had a chance to bounce back. Now that chance seems to be less and less likely." Some even believe that at the rate of postponing the album, the fans would never get it. In the middle of that uncertainty, no single dropped and no album followed. And because newer artists filled the space between 2024 and 2026, Roddy Ricch's name would trend occasionally, but mostly attached to questions about the album's status. However, by 2026, even publications started framing it differently. Like Vibe described the moment as a defining crossroads because it signals uncertainty, suggesting that an artist is at a turning point rather than one leading the pack. But while fans were debating music and album delays, real-life issues were stacking up behind the scenes for Roddy Ricch. In 2019, a man named Chushin Kim claimed that Roddy Ricch rear-ended him on the 110 freeway in Los Angeles and caused significant injuries, and that case lingered for years. However, in November 2023, a judge ordered Roddy Ricch to pay $2,125 in sanctions and sit for a deposition after delays in the legal process. That may not sound massive compared to a celebrity's income, but court orders carry weight. Specifically speaking, when a judge forces compliance, it signals frustration with how things are being handled. Nevertheless, the lawsuit revived headlines tied to Roddy Ricch and legal trouble. But things got more personal in May 2024, where Roddy Ricch settled a custody case with his ex-girlfriend, Alexandra Kaiser. Turns out, Roddy Ricch agreed to pay $8,000 a month in child support, plus cover tuition and therapy expenses, after Alexandra accused him of neglecting fatherhood, which hit differently considering reports placed his net worth at around $25 million. Fortunately, the case ended in settlement rather than an ugly, prolonged battle, but the accusation stuck in public memory because parenting narratives are sensitive. And when fans heard claims of absence and neglect, it changed their perception quickly. However, the situation that truly exploded online came later in 2024, and it started in a simple storage unit. Turns out, a TikTok content creator known as the Storage Hunters, run by a man named Prieto, purchased an abandoned storage unit. Inside, he claimed to find luxury clothes, sneakers, and something far more shocking: Roddy Ricch's 2019 Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance.
Louis Vuitton shirt, baby. Give me a little bit. Next, Morny, baby. Morny. Let's keep it coming with the... Yo, we came up. We came up. This. Roddy Ricch. There's no way this was his freaking...
Grammy.
Roddy Ricch Grammy? Was this his freaking locker? Did we just find Roddy Ricch's locker?
Prieto began posting videos, saying he wanted Roddy to contact him to retrieve the items.
Roddy Ricch, if you want your Grammy back, let me know. Let's work something out. Send me a message, DM. I don't know if you want your Grammy back, but I'm pretty sure this is important.
According to Prieto, he expected a thank you or some form of acknowledgement, but then things took an unexpected turn when Roddy went on Instagram Live and told a completely different version, claiming that Prieto tried to extort him for $50,000. In addition to that, he also claimed the demand initially hinted at wanting an Audemars Piguet watch worth $30,000. Roddy stated that he was willing to compensate Prieto for the return instead, and according to him, the situation felt like a shakedown.
And so, I don't know what he's talking about with that, but all right, well, we'll meet you here and get a Grammy back or whatever. So we was like, you know what? since you bringing it back, we're gonna give you some money. You know what I mean? We're gonna give you some money for that. Yeah, y'all worried about the 2 kids. We're gonna give you some money for that. So we was like, shit, bring the clothes too, and we'll throw you some money. You know what I mean? And when he ended up coming to the police station that we met up at, he had 2 cops, 3 niggas with cameras trying to create a moment out of it. And it just was that the whole situation put a bad taste in everybody on the team mouth. It put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So everybody just wanted to get the situation done with, wanted to pull up, get the Grammy, you know what I mean? And maybe take care of him if he wanted to be cool, you know what I'm saying? But
However, Prieto publicly denied those claims, insisting that he never demanded money and only wanted recognition or a simple video acknowledgement. In the end, the Grammy was returned.
I want you guys to check it. I'm giving you back in one piece. I don't want any problems or anything. It's there in one piece. You guys see it?
Am I picking up the clothes too or no?
No. I took clothes too, bro. I'm not gonna, like, I don't know.
Can we just give you cash for the clothes or something?
I mean, you guys didn't tell me anything. It was just a Grammy. I'm giving it back to, I want everyone to see I'm giving back in one piece. I don't want any more problems. You get me?
Appreciate it.
So this is yours now, so I want everyone to see that.
But fans jumped into the comments, with one saying, "Roddy lost my respect. To think it's his fault for not paying off the storage." And another one added, "When he asked, 'Am I getting the clothes too?' I yelled and threw my dang phone. Like, why not just pay the dang locker bill so this won't happen?" Roddy Ricch claimed he offered $10,000 for the return of the Grammy and his belongings.
called him immediately, like, bro, I got like 10 bands for you. He like, man, that ain't shit. I want 50,000.
But Prieto denied any financial demand, explaining that he only wanted a video of the exchange because the situation had become a nightmare.
No, I'm not asking for $1 million. All I wanted was a video of me giving it back to him.
Following the whole incident, public opinion began leaning in a direction Roddy likely didn't expect. Many people argued that once a storage unit is legally purchased at auction, the contents belong to the buyer, and that includes everything inside, even a Grammy. Legally speaking, Prieto may not have been obligated to return anything. He paid for the storage contents. What was there is his. For them to threaten him and his family and try to ruin this guy is lame. He did not have to give that back. Lawyers couldn't do anything either. Nevertheless, instead of focusing on legal technicalities, a lot of viewers felt Roddy came across as ungrateful, claiming they can't believe he asked for the clothes too and didn't say thanks. In the end, the incident was not a good look for him. And by 2025, the tone online had completely changed. The delays around the Navy album made everything worse, and to the fans, it stopped feeling frustrating and started feeling funny. One Reddit user commented, "Might as well keep it at this point. It's been delayed for like over a year and a half now." Crazy how almost all the rappers that came up in the late 2010s are either dead or fell off hard, which is partially why rap is struggling in the mainstream right now. Another one angrily commented, "He's a fucking pussy. Posted it was 90% done in September. Shit was delayed 5 times and all he posts is shopping sprees at his fat ass eating burgers." Now, in hip-hop, hate keeps you relevant and jokes keep you visible. Silence, however, is different because by 2025, fewer people were arguing about his potential because they'd already decided. By February 2026, the long-awaited album still had no confirmed date, and pre-save links kept disappearing. At this point, fans are no longer in anticipation for it. They hope that it gets released just for him to keep his word. The excitement that once surrounded Roddy Ricch's name has also cooled. The dominance of 2019 feels like it'll never be achieved again, and the promise people once projected onto him had shifted into what-if conversations. To some, Roddy Ricch will remain one of the greatest fall-offs in hip-hop history, easily top 10.